Okay, next morning. Um, I'm editing the video, which is real short. It's real short because I didn't record a whole lot of this because this project absolutely required every single second of my attention. I do repeat myself twice about the springs, but I didn't cut that part out. There's a couple. There's a couple things. The f- my assumption is because it's new and I haven't actually worked it in yet, but the free spool on that winch is substantial. You really have to put your ass behind it to pull it out under free spool. The flip end of that is it the free non-load return on the winch is really fast. Shockingly fast, twice as fast as my Smitty belt. I haven't loaded it yet. I haven't done the spool yet. I need another vehicle. I used to use the big ass tree out front of my house to as a picket to respool my winch. I don't have that tree anymore because well, it fell down. Um, and I used the winch to drag it out of the driveway. But so this is not an installation video. It is not any remotely bit of an installation video. Again, I said it in the other video. I'm going to say it again. GP Factor did a fantastic job of engineering this product. Um, the problems that I had with installing it, that wiring box was a real bugaboo. The other thing is, and this is me, I did this. I dropped a bolt. I dropped the nut that I fought with for probably 2 hours around the wiring harness. I think I show that. I might put a still picture in of that ugly ass bolt or nut problem. I dropped the nut and it fell down into the pan, the catch pan. So uh, supplemental for me for instructions would be just remove the entire grill. Don't even leave it in. Just take the whole grill out, assembly out. It's not that hard. Um, and just drop the whole skid plate. Don't even try to work around the skid plate being in place. Just take the skid plate out. Take the skid plate off. Take the grill out. It's much easier to cut it on the bench, and the backside um, of the grill needs to be cut. There's a once you take the grill out, you'll see you can do exactly what they say on the instructions and just cut out that one little section, and it works. Kind of. Uh, but there's a section like it goes a little bit deeper, and so what I did was I actually cut it in and then angled cut it, so there is even more space behind the grill for the spool for the winch to spool up because it is a tight fit. It's absolutely a tight fit. And again, I mentioned it in the video that I may actually cut the whole bottom of the grill out. Just the blue section, I'm think I'm gonna cut that. I haven't totally 100% decided yet, but I might cut that out and then put like nice little end caps so you can watch the and guide the winch line going into the through the fair lead and then actually physically interact with it. You never want to stick your arm or hand into a winch, trust me. But being able to watch the and guide the winch cable into position, it might be a little bit better to do. As it stands, you don't need to do that. But my experience with winches is you give them a chance to get a knot in it or an asshole in the winch cable, it'll do it. And especially in an emergency situation or a situation where you're using it and you can't watch it. The next thing you know, the winch jams up. Why'd the winch jam up? Well, the winch jammed up because the winch cable globbed up into a spot where it shouldn't have because it doesn't naturally want it well, kind of naturally wants to spool onto the spool correctly, but sometimes it doesn't. If you're not pulling perfectly straight, it can build up in one spot. Trust me, it does. It's not supposed to, but it does. Other than that, this is not an installation video. Read the instructions from GP Factor. There are fantastic instructions. Fantastic instructions. Read them all the way through, drink a cup of coffee, read them all the way through again, and then follow the instructions as you go along with the video, or as you go along with the installation because that's what I did. Um, and like I said, I think if I did like 3 or 4 of these, I probably could have whittled that, 12 hours that I did it. And you could probably whittle that down to about 6 or 8, but it's absolutely every bit of an 8-hour project. You're gonna have to block an entire day to do it. And I would employ a helper at least for a little part of, for picking it up and putting it into place. I use the motorcycle lift, which worked perfectly. But I do everything alone because I don't have any friends. So every single thing that I do by myself. Now, that's it. Enjoy the video. This is as short as I could possibly make it because that's all I shot video of. This was another time suck. I actually broke these wires, and if I had thought about it beforehand, I would replace these wires. These are go into the control box. I would replace those with heat shrink connections because those rubber connections are not great, and you do kind of have to bend those wires down out of the way a little bit. And it was my fault. I screwed that up, but I would probably consider doing that. I did replace all 3 of those with heat shrink connectors, just as a little FYI. Okay, so this is this they shoved 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag with this thing, and I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. The other thing is, do yourself a favor and read the instructions completely, because I had complained about there needing to be a washer on the front of this thing, and damn if they didn't actually send the correct washers, and ironically enough, they are 3D printed. For the on-off switch on the front. I'm going to grab the camera here and show exactly what I'm talking about. So here's all the wiring going into this. I did my best. I actually added a supplemental piece of insulation. I don't know if it's going to show up. I need a flashlight. I added a supplemental piece of insulation right there, that gray thing. I'm not really super crazy about how much they pushed in there. Oh, there's the washer that I printed, and here's the one that comes with it. That was a supplemental to the instructions. Read all the instructions. So the next step is going to be tearing the front of the Grenadier apart, or the Quartermaster apart. I have a motorcycle lift here, which actually I need to put... I'm going to put some 2x4s on it to raise it up just a tiny bit, but all this has got to come out. It's only slightly more involved than I want it to be, but the instructions that come with the GP Factor has on their website are excellent. So the only one that was a little bit questionable, and I just went and did it anyway, was my assumption is it's a control wire right there. That control wire there, that white thing, yeah, that white one. They don't specifically say to plug that in, but it kind of makes sense that you have to plug that in. If you don't have to plug it in, I can always cut the wire, but you can't plug it in once it's in the truck, so it's getting plugged in. If it fucks up, then I'll just cut the wire. But I'm sure that's the ground, or something. I don't know what it is. It's blue wires that come off the hot lead, so my assumption is it's like an overload protect. That's it. I am not looking forward to this. The other thing is, I may have to put springs in the front of this truck. I sat on the bumper and it didn't sag. I know I'm 250 pounds of fat ass, and it didn't sag more than 1/4 of an inch. So 1/4 of an inch is acceptable. I still might put the leveling springs in the front just to kind of raise the truck up to kind of get rid of some of the rake. I don't plan on towing a 5,000 pound trailer with this thing, so it might behoove me to just level it out just a tiny bit. We'll see. Now, I'm going to tear the front of the truck apart. I don't need the camera watching me do it, even though it might be funny to watch me break something. Okay, so here we are, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later. And the whole front of the truck is apart. So I had to take off the center section. I had to take off the left and right intercooler covers. They're part of the bumper, obviously, but those are intercoolers. There's one here and there's one here, which look like they're really god-awful expensive if something goes wrong with them. So I put the bolt back in it because they're kind of little. And then had to take the headlight out because I need to get that. I need to get to that to attach the cabling. I whipped out my handy dandy motorcycle lift, which I kind of borrowed from somebody and I never returned it. I feel a little guilty about that. I might give it back to him after this. But it comes in handy. Let's see here. That's really about it. Oh, I had to trim this piece off here. There's a section here that has to be trimmed off, but you have to be careful because you can't see it because it's all taped up, but the grill attaches, this trim piece attaches to this, which attaches to this. This whole assembly is one big giant assembly. Very, very, modern vehicle, German kind of thing. It would be nice if this piece just popped off, but of course it doesn't. That's it. I'm gonna. I think I may employ a helper to lift that thing up because it's pretty heavy. The other thing I'm considering doing is putting bigger springs in the front of this. I put my fat ass on the bumper this morning, and the truck didn't move. It moved maybe 1/4 of an inch. I'm pushing 240. I mean, probably 250 now. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. We'll find out. So next video should be, or the next part here should be that thing on. We'll see. Okay, we're back. You'll notice that the grill is now out of the truck. Not for nothing, I should have done that the first time. I should have done that before I even started this project. It didn't say to do it in the instructions, so I was like, fuck it, I didn't do it. What is this part about? Well, I don't even know if it'll show up. I can't see that because that's in the way. Yeah, there's a bolt, there's a nut back in there. There's one there too. Yeah, the one that you can't see, no matter what, maybe. Yeah, there's a nut back there, and then there's one down here too. Yeah, those are absolute motherfuckers to get to. They pack those wires in so tight. You have to put the wires on first before you put the switch block in. But the truth of the matter is, it's just packed in so tight. I don't blame the engineers. You gotta work with what you have. But I think I would probably mount that thing someplace else. Yeah, I think if given the second chance to take a look at that, I would probably mount that somewhere else, so it'd be much easier to put the bolts in. Take the whole grill assembly out, because I'm only one step away from getting the whole grill assembly out, which is this. This is actually just a cover. Take that thing out and then mount that control box somewhere else. Because that's just a fucking nightmare to get to those screws or to get to those nuts. I don't know how to do it. I mean, I did. I mean, I'm a fucking good guy. I mean, I'm a fucking pro. It's pro standpoint here is I would definitely put that box someplace else. Okay, so here's my first. You got to be fucking kidding me. Like hardcore. You got to be fucking kidding me. I'll let the cat out of the bag here, but this truck as spec'd was about $100,000. they hold the fucking parking light in the bumper right there. This bumper here, this parking light with double-sided fucking tape. It's a little non-German for me. It's a little, I don't know, maybe country where these things are intended to be taken to. I don't, yeah, that's fucking absurd. Thankfully, I have a shit ton of double-sided tape because this is one of my favorite things. And the other thing is they didn't even use good shit. They used cheap fucking white stuff, which I also happen to have. I mean, I don't know. That's just a little shitty. I'm starting to go back together here. I ended up here. You can't see it because I put the grill back on, but there was a big piece of plastic behind this thing. I cut that off, and not for nothing, I'm going to see how this works, but I have the most peculiar feeling I'm going to be cutting this grill, this section of the grill. I might cut this completely out. Make some nice little 3D printed end here or something, or just cut it with a fucking Sawzall, like right. I might cut this whole section of the grill out. We'll see. Well, it's done. The winch is in. So, like I said, this whole project here has been something that I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't and couldn't video this. I would have needed somebody here with me all day to facilitate videotaping this project. Okay, so final thoughts. First of all, I needed every bit of this amount of tools to do the job, and the no good, very bad fucking day tool. Plus a couple others. The no good, very bad day fucking tool. And that was my fault. But, so there's a couple little, I don't know what to say. I don't know how I'm going to call them, foibles or intricacies of this project that really kind of shocked me. One of them was, and this was actually mentioned in the instructions, when you take the ends of the bumpers off, these ends here, behind these bumper ends are intercoolers for the turbo. One's for the turbo and one's for the transmission. And when you unbolt them, they decide that they want to just do their own thing. And then when you go to bolt them back together, they decide they want to do their own thing. I found that to be a little bit, I found that to be a little troublesome, to be honest with you. Very un-German-like, but very British-like. Force it in and then it'll go. But otherwise, so here's the joke of the day. This is what I have left over. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts left over. These 3 go in the bumper. These 6 go in the bumpers, and so do these 2. These 2 are intercooler bolts. So, and those get replaced. Short of it is, well, the rope's a little short. Story of my life. That's what she said. So, yeah, I mean, I did the whole thing myself. They say you need somebody to do it with you. Well, I don't have any friends, so I did the whole thing myself, and it was every bit of an 8-hour job. Now, I'm going to say well, actually, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say it was probably a 12-hour job, but 4 hours of that was me dicking off, smoking cigarettes, reading instructions, drop the bolt, twice, 3. I dropped like 3 or 4 bolts where I ended up having to take some shit apart. I'm going to put some stills in, but I had to take the whole grill out because, I forget why I took the whole grill out. I think because I wanted to. But otherwise, I still have to, the winch works. I have to spool it out and then reload it. It is tight in here. This is tight. This is really tight. So we'll see. My opinion is the rope's a little short, but I can always buy extra rope or longer recovery straps. I might do both. The other thing I got to get is some max tracks, because most likely that's what I would use to get myself out of a bind. Yeah. Like I said, I apologize for this video not being, 3 hours of me cussing and cursing, because literally this took me all day. I started this project at 7 o'clock this morning, and it is now 6 o'clock at night. Or I don't know what fucking time it is, but it's time that I'm done. Put my tools away, and I hear Captain Mongo calling my name.